your spirit. Believe God for it. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout right now. Got my boxing ring behind me because we've been dealing with fighting to get to the next level. It's a series of messages from a book that I wrote. Get the book. Let's show that book. Get the book. It'll bless you real good. And if you go back over the last 6 times I preached Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you will get a lot of good stuff that's going to help you. Today I'm just going to start throwing bricks at you. Not a lot of rehearsing and a lot of revamping. Today I want to ask the question, can you grow? Okay. Back we did talk about the natural matriculation, but now I'm going to get into the real nitty gritty of going to the next level. We'll talk about what that is. But today I really want to begin to get into your mind. I must admit, I'm going to do a lot of digging into your mind through this teaching, through this series, because a lot of what God wants to do is being hindered by the way we think. As a man thinketh, so is he. There's a book entitled Think and Grow Rich. Whatsoever things are lovely, just, pure, think on these things. Let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus. He thought it not robbery to consider himself equal with God. It was the way he thought. His mindset was different. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, really to go to the next level, fighting. There's going to be some hard work that you got to do, but I promise you, you got to think different. You got to start retraining your mind to think different, to think about being productive, to think about change, to think about evolution or evolving, to think about challenging yourself, to think about evaluating yourself, to think about, yesterday we talked about energy dispersion. How do you use your energy in this area, that area, the other area? So I'm going to be challenging you in the area of your thinking on today. And that powerful question is, can you grow? Can you grow? Hopefully the answer is yes, I can. Can you grow? Yes, I can. We're going to see if you can grow, and we're going to give you some concepts that are going to help you with the ideal of growth. There are certain things that trigger growth. Time is one of the key triggers to growth. You know how it is. Parents have their child, and in-laws and distant family members, they may see the child 5 years later, and you know what they'll say? My, have you grown? As if to think that you wouldn't grow. Well, I have grown because I've been eating, I've been being fed, I have been, time has passed. You haven't seen me in 8 years. I have grown. And there's a measuring mechanism that can gauge that. In the house, they put a little mark behind your head to see how you've grown from your 1 year to the next surrounding your birthday. Well, as it relates to fighting to get to the next level, I gotta know, can you grow? Gotta know, can you grow? I'm a poet and I didn't know it. I gotta know, can you grow? Can you grow? Let me see who's on today, because I'm about to jump into it. I did some interesting reading, some very interesting reading. And I was dealing with my book, Faith. Good morning, everyone that's on. Can you grow? Would y'all hit that share button, share it, like it, and share it. Let me get into my teaching, my lesson on today. I'm writing a book entitled Faith. And I love this book. It's good. And I'm dealing with faith for the impossible is one of the highest levels. And there are times that God, when Christ began to teach us about faith, he went to the extreme level and said, listen, there's another level, and it has to do with the impossible. Not the far-fetched, not the Hail Mary, not the slim chance. No, we're talking about stuff that's way beyond that, it's impossible. You speak to mountains and they obey you. That's impossible. That's where faith really reaches its highest level, where virgins get pregnant. It's just the highest level. What? It's beyond reason. It's beyond science. It's beyond nature. It's impossible. And one of the areas we get to is where Jesus said the camel goes through the eye of a needle. And I began to read about the camel, and I came across some interesting concepts. First of all, I read that I have this gift to retain all this information as part of my gifting. But a camel is, the average camel is about 1,300 pounds. It weighs about 1,300 pounds. It stands about 6 feet high at the shoulders, but its neck could reach up all the way to about 9.5 feet. The camel, again, weighs 1,300 pounds, and in length, the camel could be 10 feet long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the nose. The camel can travel 30 miles a day, okay? Did you know that a camel could go 7 months without water? 7 months without water. It's interesting that the camel could go 7 months without water, and a camel can drink 53 gallons of water in 3 minutes. That's not the most that it could consume, but a camel can consume 53 gallons of water in 3 minutes. It's berserk. It's bizarro. It's amazing. It's this big, what they call it, the beast of burden. It's the transportation used in the desert, and it's got the hump. Sometimes you got 2 humps. In the hump of the camel, it's fatty tissue, just fatty tissue that the camel knows how to metabolize the metabolism, and they break it down. When they go in long distances and haven't eaten or drank in a long time, they'll begin to consume that fat at a very slow rate. That's why they can go for 7 months without water. It's amazing, the camel, right? But I come across some interesting concepts concerning growth and creation. All right? In the desert, sand is equivalent to, in the Arctic, snow. So on one end you got snow, another end you got desert, right? The Eskimos have somewhere between 200 and 400 words in their vocabulary that's not in everyone else's vocabulary, and those words surround snow. Why? Because it's the biggest thing where they live. It's ice, it's snow, and they have, again, all these other words that are directly connected to the snow, because it's everywhere, ice, cold, all the time. The same is true in the desert. The desert has got people that dwell in the desert, and around those desert regions have a vocabulary that has additional words, let's say between 200 and 400 additional words that are not in places like where I am, where you are, in the city. And these words are directly relative to the desert. Okay? Words about the sand, about the desert, about the camel, about the different animals and the beast out there and what they go through, and a lot of the language surrounds the camel and travel, things of that nature. In the Hebrew language, there was no word for computer. Now, in the culture that we live in, snow and ice dominates the Arctic. In the desert, the sand dominates the desert. In our culture, technology dominates the culture, right? So technology is to us what sand is to the desert, what snow and ice is to the Arctic. Got it. So in our culture, we have a lot of words that surround technology. Words that did not exist 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. So, in the Hebrew language, there is no word, in the old Hebrew language, there's no word for computer because they didn't exist. So search the old Hebrew language, no word for computer. So when the computer was created, the Hebrew scholars and writers had to create a word, new word for the language, for computer. And they did that. The root word that they created came from the word to think. The root word means to think, and they have evolved another word that means computer. But we know, like the snow with the Eskimos, like the sand in the desert, there are 200 to 400 words surrounding the snow, surrounding the desert. And we can say the same thing. There are 200 to 400 words, if those are the numbers, surrounding technology. So if you had to come up with a word for computer, then from the word computer, there are other words that are going to be created. You know, iPad, Mac, streaming, PC. What's another word? Buffering. What's another word? Technology word. I don't know. You can think of several technology words, whatever they are, right? Share. Instagram. All of this, again, is technology words somewhere around even these platforms, Facebook and YouTube. And so, do you think there's a Hebrew word for YouTube? Well, if there is, some kind of way it has evolved from the base word computer, which has evolved from the word to think. So, you have a progression of change, growth. Watch growth. I'm going to make a powerful point here. Track with me. Watch growth. No computer. There is a computer. Now we got to grow the language because of the computer. And now there are other terms surrounding the computer. We need what's the cable? A C plug, a DMI, DVI, DH, all these other computer. I wish somebody was on it just giving me all these computer terminologies, all whatever, right? So now all of these other words began to evolve from the new word that's created, computer. So the word computer has a deviation, a derivative. The new word computer branches out, right? And creates all these other ideas and concepts that all evolve from a word meaning to think. Now we have computer. And now we have plugs, satellite, we have Ethernet, we have cable, video cable, we have with cameras, digital cameras, the word digital itself. You have Dropbox. There's a word, Dropbox. Put it in my Dropbox. Email. You have all of these different terms that have evolved from computer. Computer continues to grow and change. Now, first the computer is made and the computer changes the language. Got it. The computer changes the culture. Now we got a new computer. And the computer now demands that more language is created. Right? So, more languages created for new words to describe the computer and everything that surrounds it. Then we began to study computer and find out computing, well, a part of its now definition means to think.
Got to find something in life. Life is going to take you from nobody. I dare somebody throw your hands up, anoint them, fill them with your spirit. Believe God for it. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout right now.